Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, osia dem yopo.
That they remain in our books, I would say, because I'm a critic of MPP. I don't think anybody has ever heard me say anything unsavory about Dr. Bawumia. No. We can always criticize without necessarily going that tangent some people go.
Okay. Now,
and so
my next question to you will then help you to dovetail into the substance of the matter and to help us appreciate what you think about the judgment and why you think that the judgment is sound. So there were 4 key individuals in this matter. You have Michael Jedu, AEC. You have one entry. There's something interesting. I need to get the full name. Kwame Entry, right? Who is one of the directors of Akonta Mining. And then you have Henry Okum as well. You have 4 people. How come the state only focused on prosecuting Wontumi and ensuring that Wontumi was jailed?
Okay, so thank you. Z, let me start off by saying that as far as I'm concerned, it was a very fair trial.
Tell me why.
A very, very fair trial. Now, this is it. It's true, yes. The charge sheet has Adom-Otchere Wontumi, Kwame Entry, who is at large. Wadwane, he's gone. It's a fact that he's gone. And Akonta Mining, which is an artificial person. Yes, so that's what the charge sheet. And yes, Okum, is that the name?
Yes.
Yes, was also arrested. In fact, the whole case surrounds that gentleman. He's the one who was arrested together with his men. And my brother Paul did justice to it. It's not unlawful. It happens. It's not unlawful at all. You see, this matter, before I even proceed, for anybody to suggest that it's a political matter, for me, I don't agree at all. And that is the problem we have as a country. Let's not do this. Fortunately, I have 2 journalists. Regardless, he is a panel member, but he says a journalist. Let's not always push everything to politics. This is what we do to this country, and people are so emboldened to do all kinds of things because they know they would be covered under the name of politics. Look,
point well made.
You see, the gentleman was arrested doing mining. That's a fact.
You mean Henry Okum?
Henry Okum. He explained when he was arrested that he was brought there by Chairman Wontumi. In fact, when you read his testimony in court, he said he doesn't even know Akonta Mining. Only that he did a search and the thing was in the name of Akonta Mining. But Wontumi has been his friend. So he spoke to Wontumi and they had, in fact, he testified that he doesn't know any other person in Akonta Mining, whether what a shareholder, a director, apart from Wontumi. And of course, he dealt with Wontumi, and it was Wontumi who brought him there. Now, when we got into, or when the state got into the matter, we realized that, yes, Wontumi, when he was arrested, admitted that, yes, I took him. He didn't say he doesn't know him. He said, yes, he was there under my authority. But what he was there for, as far as I'm concerned, is not to mine. So at least a certain percentage of the story has been confirmed that you know him, you took him there. So we need to do further investigation. Then this man said, okay, I know per what has been shown to me that whatever I was doing was illegal. I concede. I'm sorry. But I'm ready to take advantage of the plea bargain. And so I forfeit A, B, C, D. And on top of it, of course, no prosecution. So I would want to volunteer information at the trial. Let me put it simple like that.
But doesn't that compromise him? The fact that he was guilty, he has admitted that he's guilty.
And he took advantage of our laws.
Plea bargain
regime,
which is lawful. Do you naturally expect these gentlemen to say anything against the state?
He had even said whatever. before this whole arrangement happened. The gentleman was arrested. He gave a caution statement. Check the date on the caution statement.
Okay.
In fact, that is even the basis for the trial.
Right.
Because the gentleman, he is the one. Look, if we wanted Wontumi doesn't live at Samra.
Right.
So it is the state, the same Galamsey issues we've always been, talking about. The state is all over. Fishing for those who are doing illegal mining and go to Samra and met this gentleman who is actually mining with our licenses. So it was the gentleman that brought in the name of Chairman Wontumi. And at the time, there was nothing like plea bargain, there was nothing like prosecution. Basic. At the very minute, he said it was Wontumi that brought me here. So whatever he may have said in court had been said even from day one.
He only repeated it.
He only repeated it in court.
Okay.
So it's not as if at that moment.
I really would have loved to see the caution statement. Anyway, please.
No, but that's the truth. That's the truth, because in fact the judge dealt with all of that. The gentleman spoke and said that. In fact, that was the basis for bringing in Wontumi. Who else? How would we have known that Wontumi is any way connected to? Because we are not going. The state is not into going for documents to check who has a site where. Because if you have a site and you're not going to mine, nobody will arrest you.
Right. So the gentleman said Wontumi brought him there to do mining.
Yes, to do mining.
Okay.
So that is what happened. Okay. Now, you see, there are a lot of things that have been said, and I will deal with this matter by answering the questions, some of the questions that have been brought, the commentary that has been put out there. First and foremost, let's get this. I'll come to the assignment bit. But let us advert our minds to the charges that were proffered on the accused persons.
Right.
The charges never includes, please pay attention to this. The charges never includes this allegation of support services.
Yes.
It didn't include that.
Yes. I'm reading the statements of offenses.
Yes.
Count 1, count 2, it's up to 6.
And all has to do with mining.
Yes.
It never had anything to do with the support services,
yes.
The reclamation.
Yes.
I'm saying this because, their lawyers went to court and they didn't raise anything. And you see, ask any lawyer, he will tell you that if you have a constitutional issue, you raise it very early in a criminal trial. That is what the law says. But you see, they went through the trial, completed the trial. It was the closing address stage that his lawyers, in the closing address, brought in this issue of constitutional whatever that the court, held on, and then the matter be transferred to the Supreme Court for interpretation. That was when this whole thing happened. Now, I'm saying that it had nothing to do, because what they were seeking an interpretation on has everything to do with the support service, because they are saying that that part of the law in the Mining Act did not proffer a punishment to it, which is contrary to the constitutional provision of 19. This is their point. Okay. And so, because the law says that the offense must be defined and appropriate punishment also attached, it breached that particular provision of the Constitution. And so the judge defers it. First and foremost, the charges were on mining. It had nothing to do with the support service. Right. So for me, the judge was even magnanimous in dealing with the matter. He could have left it, because that wasn't what was before him. It was Wontumi that brought in that. I asked him to reclaim and not to mine. Yes. The man was also arrested for mining. And you see, the judge did some good work, even with regards to the constitutional bit, that the matter be taken to the Supreme Court. Let me say emphatically that the current position of the law with regards holding on, because your listeners may not be lawyers, I don't want to be legalist too much. That's why I'm struggling.
Yes.
Holding on and taking the matter to the Supreme Court for interpretation is the decision. First, we have the Mekankan case. We have in fact, the latest is the Jachikwezin case. People make mention of Zaneto. I'm surprised. Beyond Zaneto, the Jachikwezin case came. And the Jachikwezin case, the court said that was true. I think one of the judges, I'll get it for you. In fact, he said that we have to be careful with this tendency of everything putting out there as though the Supreme Court should always have the opportunity of interpreting everything. That is not how they work. That is why ex parte Akosa is there to guide us, whether the matter should be interpreted at the Supreme Court or not, or be taken to the Supreme Court or not. And the court would have to determine, that the trial court would have to determine whether there is even a matter that the Supreme Court should interpret. It is for him. If you disagree with him, you go and appeal. But even more profound is the finding the judge got. And I agree with him 100%. The reason he declined, when there are two conflicting understanding, let's put it understanding of a particular provision, that is where you take it to the Supreme Court. But if you say that a punishment is not attached to a provision, you are questioning the Parliament's role in the way the law was couched. That is not interpretation. Do you understand? Okay. There are no conflicting, because you are saying, and I see where they are coming from, that the offense was stated, but a punishment was not attached to it, which, according to them, infringes on a constitutional provision of 19, Article 19. If you say so, then it means that you are asking for the law, whatever it is, you are questioning the way it was drafted. Okay. That is not a matter that the Constitution envisages that it be referred to the Supreme Court for interpretation. What are you interpreting? Do you understand? Okay. So the judge said, no, that is not what... You can always go to court for that, whatever that you think that... But in the course of the trial, what happened in the course, in fact, even with the written submission, we were done with the trial. But in the course of the trial, what came up in terms of conflicting meanings?
I get that. I
get
that. But Honorable, you see...
I want to do... There are a lot
of... No, this is important. And I'm trying to get some more understanding of why you believe that interpretation that the Adom-Otchere and his people wanted to seek at the Supreme Court relative to whether there's a law on reclamation, which is the mining support.
No, there is, but it's attached punishment.
Good. Now, the reason why I'm asking a question on this is because, you see, Henry Oku says he was asked by Chairman Wontumi to go and mine, right?
Yes.
Chairman Wontumi says, no. I asked him to go and do reclamation. Now, don't you think that, yes, I get the point you're making, but don't you think that there should have been some clarity which should have been sought, which is that, look, even if you asked him to do reclamation, what are the legal processes you should have gone through? And if you didn't, what are the consequences? Don't you think that we should have arrived at that, even though, yes, if you read the statement of offenses would have been brought against them, there was nothing about reclamation.
No, but it's important.
But it came up.
No, but you see, it's important. And it is so significant that it's not part of the charges before the judge. It was your response. Then the judge said that even if that is the case, you still didn't have. But none of them was convicted on that charge, because there is even on that offense, because the offense was not on the charge sheet.
But the reason why this was important to him is that if the claim that Wontumi had asked him to go and mine is held constant, I mean, if that is accepted, that definitely was going to land him in trouble.
Yeah, but that's what happened.
So he needed the reclamation thing to be the main...
That is his case. That's his case. I get it, but that was his case. But yes, because of course, you see, I know. You see, yes, to bring this in, and the judge. That's why I think the judge was so meticulous. He stood on course because he would not. Of course, he dealt with that aspect. That even if that is your claim, you still didn't even have the authority to do so.
Okay,
but then I'll still stick to them. So you understand? Now, let me also say this. Look. My brother Paul mentioned according to him, some questions people have been asking, whether the burden of proof was shifted. Look, it is law. And I can give a lot of decided cases. The burden does not stop with the prosecution. When it shifts. And he mentioned shift.
Okay.
When the prosecution...
It was actually based on an article he read. It's
Well,
not his
no, but
opinion.
I have.
He only
I
raised
mean,
it.
when you look at the law, I mean,
Yes.
this is the evidence decree I have here.
No, I get the point. I'm just saying that
so
he, was
for your
only, he only
viewers,
raised it based on an article somebody had.
that no problem.
Yes.
So I'll deal with
Yes,
it.
yes,
No
yes.
problem. So I have the evidence decree here,
Okay.
and it talks about the burden of proof. 15, 16, they all deal with. I mean, the burden of persuasion in particular cases. He said, unless and until it is shifted. Unless and until it is shifted. So it tells you that at some point it shifts.
Okay.
When there is a claim on you, the state puts out, there was a claim that there was mining.
Right.
In fact, nobody has disputed that there was mining. Who did the mining and who ordered it is what is in dispute.
This is interesting. When Chairman Wontumi, so sorry, and I need to play the
So
sorry,
no.
Are you saying that when Chairman Wontumi was asked whether he had asked Henry Okum, who then subsequently employed Michael Jedu AC to do the thing, you mean when Chairman Wontumi was asked whether he had asked them to mine and whether the claim that they had made was true or not, you mean Chairman Wontumi said nothing?
No, Chairman Wontumi said that he actually asked him
To reclaim,
he sent him
not to mine.
not to mine,
Okay.
but to reclaim. I'll come to those fine details.
Yes.
Please bear with
because
me.
of the shift of the
Yes, but the shift here is
Yes.
that there was a claim. In fact, the state has been able to make a case that there's been some mining, whatever. I mean,
Yes.
illegal mining. Indeed, this happened. And the person who was doing the mining actually considered that I did mining, but on the authority of this person.
Wontumi.
At least the state has brought up somebody. And Wontumi is saying that I know him. But what he went there to, of course, I mean, no judge expects somebody who has pleaded not guilty to say that I asked him to mine. I
Right.
mean, we are not kids.
I get it.
Do you understand?
I get it.
But that is why I will even come to the circumstantial evidence aspect.
Okay.
Where I've heard lawyers and shocking lawyers say that it is not law. Really? Let me give decided cases of, look, virtually about 90% of criminal cases in this country are not just in this world, are resolved through circumstantial evidence.
Okay.
Because there are normally no direct pieces of evidence. Do you understand?
Okay.
So circumstantial evidence is law. We've said it. The Via versus Republic, the State versus Anam Fiajo, the Logan versus Gemfi versus the Republic, all of them. And the courts have always said that if there are no direct evidence, you have to resort to circumstantial. But the condition with circumstantial evidence is that it must lead to no other situation than the person who is involved being the one who perpetrated.
Must lead to one incontrovertible
Yes,
conclusion.
I don't want to
but I
be
want
so
us to
much
look at the shift of because
so
Paul
the
raised
shift,
it. I want you to address
is here.
it. Yes.
So the shift, he said, unless and until it is shifted, the party claiming that the person is guilty of crime, of wrongdoing, has the burden of persuasion on that issue.
Okay.
Unless and until it is shifted, the party claiming that the person did not exercise a requisite degree of care has the burden of persuasion and all that. Essentially, what he's saying is that, yes, so the state comes in, it is for the state to prove the case,
Yes.
to at least make its case.
Yes.
When the state alleges and puts at least, we arrested someone, and the person is saying that I was there on your authority. You have also said that, yes, he was there on my authority. But the only problem is that I didn't ask him to
do
at
what
least
is- what
about
is in
80% of what has been said, we both agree.
Okay.
Because you actually know him and he is there on your authority.
That's fine.
Now, then the burden shifts to you. If you go to court and you say that I have a right to remain silent and all that, whatever has been said or would be said, if you have to raise some doubts. That's why the burden, otherwise, they will not call upon you to also say what you know.
Okay.
That's why we say the doubts that will be raised should be resolved in your favor. You have to raise doubts. So it's your duty. So if for anybody to say that the state did not do much, it was Wontumi that was asked to do ABCD. No, the state had a case to make. It did make the case. In fact, they had corroborators, more especially the gentleman who claimed he was there on the authority of Chairman Wontumi and was actually mining. He also said a lot of things. The procurement of heavy duty machines, which he said was done by with the support of Wontumi and all that. So that prima facie, there is a case. Come and raise the doubts. That's when the burden shifts to you to also raise whatever you have to raise. So it's not true that in the entirety of the trial, it is only the state that has. If you decide to do that, he was not under any obligation to speak. Then you should have kept quiet so that the judge would come to the conclusion he came to. Now, with the issue of circumstantial evidence, I've explained that it is lawful. I'll be surprised with anybody, except if anybody has a contrary. Most of the decisions, in fact, capital offenses like murder, a lot of time it is the circumstantial evidence. Now, you see, it has also been said why we didn't prosecute the other gentleman, especially I've told you that he took advantage. Why? Wontumi also had the opportunity of taking advantage, just like the Exim case, to take advantage of this law. He didn't. So if somebody took advantage, and also the state, of course, needed information, and the gentleman was the one who gave the information that I am innocent from the beginning. I'm here because the gentleman brought me here. In fact, there is no vicarious liability in crime that you say that somebody asked me to. So you are still guilty. And he saw it. He said, yes, I'm guilty. But the guilt, I want to cure it by taking advantage of the plea bargain. So it's not as if he went scot-free. Okay. It's not true. Let that point be made.
All right.
Now listen to this. You see,
and I want you to end on this point so that Paul can come in, so that you can have a conversation.
Yes.
You spoke for almost 30 minutes.
I have.
Yes.
You see, there is this claim that Wontumi, because I have raised the issue that, hey, if you claim you didn't actually sanction what happened, and the judge made mention of it, the gentleman was asked during cross-examination, what's his name? Ogunga.
Yes, Henry Ogun.
And whether Wontumi ever visited the site, because if you ask somebody to do reclamation on your behalf, you should visit the site. Of course, Ghanaians who are not even lawyers can ask some questions. What was it Wontumi? He claimed he never mind there. So what was Wontumi's, his interest in reclaiming a site he didn't mind? He doesn't work with EPA. He's not a Minerals Commission officer. What was his interest? And how were they going to finance it? The gentleman said that I am not an agriculturist. I am a small-scale miner. So he never said, the gentleman didn't say that he was going there to plant coconuts. He was going there to mine. In any case, the judge asked questions that how are they going to finance it? Whose money? And the gentleman is a Father Christmas? No. The gentleman said no. But the claim has been made that he reported the matter when the mining was ongoing. There is nothing on record. Let me say this today to you. There is nothing on record to corroborate that claim. That Wontumi reported that there was galamseyers on the mine. I've heard this. I don't know whether you've not heard it. Because we have raised
the Regional Coordinating Council.
No, but the Regional Coordinating Council, it was the former regional minister who came to testify.
Oshedaku.
He came to, is that the name? Yes. He came to testify. I do not know how many people would go to a regional minister to report a galamsey. We are not kids. This is a politician. If somebody, and you knew that it was Ogun you asked there, assuming you didn't know he was mining, you had a site, you claim you had a lease. The site is being mined. You never stepped foot there. Yet, you claim that you went to report that some people were mining. When you knew you had asked somebody to be there, if he's doing something you've not asked him to do or asked him to do, you go and report him to the police, the law enforcement officer. You were even in government. You were a powerful man. You go and bring a politician to say that I report. And the judge said, these are all afterthoughts. Yes, because if indeed a report was even made, the gentleman came and he didn't even have a sheet of paper of a complaint he had lodged with the police that somebody was perpetrating a crime. And so, for me, you know, and let me end with that, at least for now, that what we had Act 703 to be our mining laws.
Yes.
And the Section 99 actually spelled out what should happen to you if you engage in illegal mining. Okay. And the Section 99(1) talked about Section 99(2), that a person without a license granted by a minister undertakes a small-scale mining operation contrary to subsection 1. We didn't have anything beyond this.
Okay.
But in 2019, we realized that we are not getting the big fishes. Because this one, because there is no vicarious liability in crime, this one only catches up with those who, are holding the shovels and all that. So in 2019, under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, this 99 was repealed. Not repealed, was amended to include a B. So when I hear anybody say that Wontumi was not arrested based on galamsey or he's not done galamsey, I don't know what they mean by that. He was captured under B, which is that if you act, you instigate, you command, you counsel, which hitherto was not part of our laws in 2006. In 2019, we brought in this. Commands, counsels, procure, solicit, promote. In any way, you are as guilty as the person doing it. In fact, where we are, I'm from a mining site. How many of these big men would you ever go and find in that pit there doing mining?
Okay.
So we should understand what galamsey is, except one who doesn't understand it. So if you say he was not, why? Were we expecting to see Wontumi operate the excavator or to hold the shovels in doing the mining? Right. So he was captured under the same law. That amendment that was done in 2019. Right. It was not only it wasn't only the conviction or the sentence that was amended. We actually captured this particular provision in there. So it is not true that he was actually not convicted based on galamsey. It was actually galamsey, and he was found guilty of such. If he intends appealing, we don't have a problem. But in the meantime, that is the position of
I rather thought that because when you look at when you read a judgment, it says that everything has been summed up, or has been compressed into two main charges or offenses. One, which is that I actually want to read it verbatim. But maybe whilst I'm looking at
so whilst you are doing that, there is this issue of assignment, and I'm shocked at the argument that has been made about assignment. If you read the provision, the relevant provision in the Mining Act,
yes,
I think that should be 12. If you read that, 14, assignment of mineral rights.
Right.
A mineral right shall not in whole or in part be transferred. Now listen, shall not be transferred, assigned, mortgaged, or otherwise encumbered or dealt in a matter without the prior approval in writing of the minister. Okay. And this, according to our brothers, a strict assignment.
Yes.
And they want, or they have impressed upon us to go and look at the Lands Act. They claim assignment has been, because I don't know what definition they are referring to, but I've heard some lawyers from that side who said that we should go and read the Lands Act, and it defines assignment to be a document. The Lands Act, I have it here, 2019. There is nothing here.
Really?
That the definition is here. But let me read the definition to you and you will see. Okay. And I'll come to this particular provision. A lot has been said. I don't know where it came from. That's 281. That's the Land Act 2020, Act 1036. It defines assignment here.
Okay.
It says that's interpretation, 281. It says assignment means the transfer of the unexpired portion of a term. Of a term, that's one. Or interest created by a lease.
Okay.
Where did he say it ought to be written? Where did he say it ought necessarily to be written?
Or documented.
And even with that, even if it had said it ought to be written here, it would still not have had any impact on the Mining Act, because this is not a universal act. This is not a constitution.
Okay.
It doesn't have. This is a different act, Mining Act, separate from the Lands Act. So you can't go and import. Even here, it's not there. But even if it's here, you can't go and import to a different act, because the processes in acquiring the said assignment is not the same. In any case, assignment is English, unless it is used in any law, legal statute, where it is the reason that when they use it in the statute, they define it.
Okay.
So, if you read the Minerals and Mining Act, it didn't define assignment here, never. Because the assignment used here is used loosely. That if you transfer, that's why it didn't just say assignment. So, it is not the Lands Act assignment they are referring to. In any case, the Lands Act didn't even define assignment to be a written document.
Okay.
So I don't know where this thing is coming from. That because there is no assignment properly sourced and they refer to the Lands Act. I have it here. Let anybody come through and show me where it is.
All right. So Paul, the charge sheet contains two main offences: assignment of mineral rights without approval, and then purposely facilitating an unlicensed mining operation. After listening to everything he said, and hopefully after reading the judgment, what are your thoughts?
Well, I listened to him carefully.
All right.
He was doing galamsey and it was lawful.
Let's do law.
No,
I'm saying that
he didn't even know he was doing galamsey.
No, he didn't know. He said, yes, he said, I'm mining. And I'm here on the authority of the lease
Okay, so
holder.
you're saying that the PW guy who was mining, he didn't know that what he was doing was wrong.
No, he was actually mining. He said he's a small scale.
In Ghana. He's already a small scale miner.
Why? I don't we have people who are legally mining. No, don't bring in that aspect because there's a change of government. If you're doing something like
I'm not talking about change of government. You don't seem to get me. Okay. I'm not talking about change of government at all. I'm talking about the disposition, okay? So forget about 2025. Let's call it 2024 so that you'll be satisfied that there's no change of government. In June 2024, a miner, one who claims that he's a miner, is found in a mining concession mining in June 2024 with all what had happened in Ghana since 2019. And he believes that what he's doing is right. He's doing galamsey.
So let me ask you.
He believes what's doing is right only because the concessionaire allowed him to.
Yes, and there's no doubt about
by 2024, it had become obvious with the work of the Ghana Journalists Association, Ken Ashibe's committee that had gone around everywhere. It had become obvious that kind of mining is illegal. It's galamsey. They use some fine equipment had been seized. But I mean, he knows more. If it is true that this guy was not aware at that time that what he was doing was illegal, then he must be very ignorant, and that's okay. Perhaps that is to the benefit of the prosecution, but I don't know how.
So, but that's what he said initially.
In Ghana in 2025, is mining. When they see soldiers coming, they run away all the time. That they are mining, and then
he wasn't lucky. He couldn't have run away.
Well, hold on. I'm saying that they know that what they are doing is wrong.
Thought he was
that is why when they see soldiers, they run.
So he didn't run. He was arrested.
He was there,
and then when
he told them what he's doing. Yes. On the authority, yes, because the license holder is Wontumi
concession. Did he ask you to come and mine?
Yes.
He asked me to come and mine.
When the
so he was confident about what he was doing.
When the galamsey matter became political,
okay,
there was a lot of political showboating.
Yes.
We had the MPP Western Regional guy stand on platform and say that they are not going to stop the miners today, and will stop the miners tomorrow because it was as a result of this galamsey process that MPP lost parliamentary seats in 2020. We had heard Joseph Yamin also speak similarly on the other side. So there's a lot of political showboating with the mining.
Yes.
That does not take, the fact that emphasizes the fact that they all know that what they are doing is wrong, but they are doing it on political basis. That's what is happening. So for us to hear that this gentleman was mining and all he thought was required was a genuine concession
but Paul, but those guys, those chaps who made those comments, were not saying that we will do illegal mining. They would have been arrested.
No,
they said we will mine today, we will mine tomorrow.
Pay 25
for the judgment. Illegal or illegal mining, we don't know. But they said they will mine today and they will mine tomorrow.
By the time the process was over, by the time Akufo-Addo banned the mining in 2017 and restored it in 2018, by the time the restoration came, many people knew that about 70% of the mining that had been happening, which we call small-scale mining, was illegal. And so people were educated on that. But we are talking about 2024 here.
No, page 35. The judgment, page 35. During cross-examination, this is what PW2 said. He said sometime in September 2024, so you can understand him. He is telling his story. I discovered the mining site located in Samraboy. Upon conducting a search, this is not a galamsey. At the Minerals Commission, I was informed that the area in question was a registered concession standing in the name of A3, which is Akonta Mining.
Okay.
Following this confirmation, I contacted A1 to discuss the possibility of mining on the unmined portions within the said concession. So this is a person who thinks he did the right thing because he went to the Minerals Commission and realized that the thing belongs to you. He's a small scale miner. You've done the large scale. I want to do the intem. When you go to there, that's the vocabulary they use. So he came to you and then told you that I want to go and do the intem. You've done the big one. Then they had a certain gentleman's agreement that go and do it and use the proceeds, part of the proceeds to cover it. This rather makes sense to me. Because how do you ask somebody to go and reclaim and then a small-scale miner. To use which money? And who paid for the excavators? And excavators to do reclamation. When indeed they should be bulldozers. You took them there, and then you claim the site belonged to you, and you never stepped foot there. You in fact procured the security of the Western Regional Security Council to protect him, to do reclamation. So it didn't make sense.
Okay.
With the greatest respect. That is why circumstantial evidence says that at least whatever has been put out there, if there is no direct evidence, should lead to a certain conclusion. Inference is allowed under circumstantial evidence, but it should lead to a certain conclusion that it is the person we are claiming he did whatever is the one actually that did it.
I see. So you don't agree with Paul when he says that once you have arrested him and he knows, once you have arrested him and he knows that there's a possibility he may be prosecuted, it then compromises.
At the time of his arrest, he didn't even know where the matter would get to, but he said what he knew. You see, but this issue of, I don't want to even sound to do any equalization. We're in this country when an attorney general, a certain attorney general, spoke on phone with someone and actually was suggesting to the person to toe a certain line in order to leave him off the hook.
Okay.
What did it mean? Comfort Dami spoke to a certain gentleman and told him that talk this way because you are not the target. Okay. What is wrong with even this one? We never asked him to lie.
How about the point Paul makes that the weight of the evidence or the evidence would have been weightier if, for instance, the prosecution could have established with beyond reasonable doubt that the proceeds from the mining was something that was given to Wontumi. And so then it then becomes clear that Wontumi actually instructed him to go and do mining and not necessarily reclamation. That, as the judge said, the reclamation argument was a post facto. It was an afterthought. Okay? Yes. But once you're not able to prove, say, when the guy was doing the mining, he was giving the thing to Wontumi.
Why?
How then do you then blame Wontumi for what has happened? What was happening on the land? How do you
it doesn't come in at all because the law, the offense under the law did not go that far.
Okay.
That we should ask whoever
is the beneficiary.
Why? If he asks him to be giving the money to his girlfriend, wouldn't he be the one taking it? Anyway. So it doesn't mean anything. But you see, that is what I've said. At the end of the day, if the gentleman was actually on site mining, the problem with the Samurai Boy thing, and it must not be underscored. Look, they've destroyed the land. That's a fact. And it had been done even long before this gentleman was arrested. We wanted the one who had done that.
Okay.
So if we came and we realized we got the information that you actually did it, and you claim that you did it on the authority of someone, the person comes under the 19(2)(b), which was hitherto not there. And it has caught up with you because you facilitated it. You granted. It's not about who takes the benefit of it, the proceeds. The law doesn't actually make, and of course, the lawyers know once the law does not include that, the judge will not import it. You were mining. Which miner has been arrested, and we asked whether he took some money to somebody and then or to another.
Okay.
At the end of the day, you are mining. You don't have license. It stops there.
Okay. She is in Swam. She's been jailed for a year. Well, what are your issues with that?
I think that this is there are two things that are worrying. This is what is creeping in our political culture of this insults thing. And we have talked about it, that I made this categorical statement that I think this started from around the 2012 election.
Okay.
And leading up to the 2024 election, we saw what happened. And the new style of doing it is people who may not belong to a regular media house, they can get a phone and get on social media, and then they start. And if you look at the trend, you see that these kinds of insults and very abrasive commentary, which targets people, and they even body shame, and they say all kinds of things that are often not verifiable. It is basically with the people who are not with regular media. And so there's a natural concern, and sometimes some of these people get a lot of following.
Yeah.
Because I think it's bringing out something in the society itself, that perhaps that's how we all are secretly. But if that's how we all are secretly, it's important to create the environment to keep that kind of behavior secret and not to be bringing it out and insulting people. So at one end, there's a concern that we have to talk about. You see, Dr. Baumia wrote something that has been discussed across that they shouldn't prosecute anybody before him.
Yeah.
But the more important thing, and I hope it's not true though, but Afenyo Markin, when he was completing his response to the budget, talked about how MPs who are on his side are being threatened, especially those who speak. So because this insults thing goes on, it can create an environment where the people in power, the government or individuals in power who are angry with one person or the other can now decide that because you have criticized me, the whole framework is to arrest people. We can add it. Because people have been calling that from next week going, there's going to be arrests like the Miracle of Adom-Otchere style. I mean, I have been told that because I have been very critical of Slemsai, they will come and arrest me because you are talking about Slemsai too much and you have to be careful. And that from Monday, today is Friday, from Monday going, the story is that there will be a lot of arrests of MPP people, particularly those who are talking very similar to the Miracles of Adom-Otchere style. They will arrest you, they won't ask you any question, and then they will harass you just so that you can keep quiet. Because some people in the system are not very happy with the proliferation of this kind of talk. And I get concerned also because it looked like there's no central situation with this one. There's no central command of it. So if you have that kind of situation, that's how it appears. I may be wrong. But if you have that kind of situation, then you can have an individual who is in the government, who has policemen, 10 of them, and say that go and arrest X person and go and put him in cells. And by the time the story goes round and round, and the central command will call and say, what has he done? What is the problem? And that's what I heard when people get arrested, that some of the most important people are called that what has happened and they are not aware of it. They don't know and they have to make phone calls. So that creates a very dangerous situation for the democracy where people can, on the basis of the fact that you have been critical of them and they have power, maybe they are an MP or they are a minister, they can then orchestrate the system of national security and come and pick you up. We are hearing that this is what is going to happen from Monday going. They'll be picking up a lot of MPP people, particularly those who are talking. And I mean, if that is so, and I hope it's not true, but if that is so, then it's something that we have to be concerned. It's also because this whole central command thing that we are talking about, that it doesn't look like there is that. I mean, somebody was asking about that I was arrested. We're actually marking about a year this week since the arrest, and the OSP has been looking at the matter. It's been 1 year now. They are looking at the matter. So that's all I can say. A person who wanted to know. It's weird. Or it was August. August is coming, so it's about 1 year. So when I was told that they are giving you 1 year, they're going to arrest you again, you are shouting on same side. But now your OSP thing is 1 year. Then I started calling people. But some laughed at it and some said, no, this is a very serious matter we should talk about. So this whole TikTok people arrest, which starts from the proliferation of too many insults in our political communication and too many abuses in our political communication. But the fundamental thing is people talk about how this guy in America was the one who started it. And he did it, and got to a crescendo. And people felt that doing it can give you a name. And doing it can give you following. And so you will find that is rapid. That has to stop. That definitely has to stop. There has to be a way in which people stop following insults and start listening to facts. You can satire, you can tease, but you cannot be insulting somebody and insulting their family and saying very crass things, unprintable words about people on social media just because of politics. That has to find a way to stop. And it's very, very important. But this arrest that is to be carried out, if it is true, I will urge that it has to be looked at again.
Now, Paul, let me ask you this. So, when Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was Attorney General under the Akufo administration, he led the repeal of the criminal libel law. Because at the time, and I think you've said it here time and again, that look, the administration at the time felt that, look, people should be allowed to speak and speak their minds, no matter how uncomfortable what they say may sound or feel. But we still have some laws in our books, so we have the
Communication Services Act.
Exactly, and then you have the Criminal Offences Act itself. But at the same time, the Constitution talks about freedom of expression, which is enshrined in Chapter 5 or so of the 1992 Constitution. Do you see a certain conflict or a clash between speak, which is the law says speak, 1992 says speak. It doesn't really give any limitations to what to say and what not to say. But then you have some acts that says, no, you can speak, but don't say these things. And then people are arrested, whether in DC or NPP, for saying those things that whoever the prosecutor or whoever the arresting authority believes has crossed the line. How do we fix this?
Well, Samson Ladi Ayini, the lawyer at the host of Newsfile, who is a practicing lawyer, has done an editorial where he talks about the fact that this communication law has been brutally abused over the last 1.5 years, more than it was used in the whole 8 years of Akufo-Addo period. I think the important question is that there's no limit, there's no free way to abuse people. It's not quite true. The issue is that process, when you cross the line, is not criminal. The person who's been affected, whether he's president of Ghana, whether he's a speaker of parliament, has ways to deal with it. One is the National Media Commission. When it was said about Akufo-Addo that he has a militia at the castle, he filed a complaint at the National Media Commission. A trial was conducted. The National Media Commission gave a conclusion. People believe that facilitates free speech. You can go harder. You can go to the court and then sue the person in defamation. If at the end of the process, the court finds that what the person said is not correct, sometimes it can even end in prison if the fine is such that you are not able to pay and all of that. So it's not open-ended that you can say anything you want about somebody. The point being made is that if somebody says something, you cannot use the state power, which belongs to everyone. It doesn't belong to you. You hold it for a time of 4 years and all that. It doesn't belong to you. You cannot use the state power to fight the person.
Okay.
That's the real issue.
Fine,
that's what worries people, that people are talking against people. So I'm talking against you. You just keep it in your head. You wait. When you come to power, I will see. Then when you come to power, you send policemen to me. And then I also keep it. Okay, this guy, when I come to power, he will see. And so the appropriation of the state power, the state authority, which makes us different from England, which makes us different from developed countries. That's really the point. That anybody in England can say anything about a prime minister and anybody, and then he will go to like the defamation court. I mean, I have been defamation court. I have been sued. There's an MP that we mentioned her name about Swedru Secondary School. Now we plotted the Swedru Secondary School on the map. And it fell in, I think, something, Swedru East or something like that. But the actual fact is that the school is governed by Swedru West. So this MP who we alleged had fought out the Swedru headmistress, which was something the old boys were talking about. We placed the photograph on the television. That was another MP, the other Swedru. Both of them are women. So she takes legal action against us that we have offended her. When we put the document on TV, our attention was drawn to it. So the subsequent program, we came and said that it wasn't this one, it's actually this one. Okay. But that didn't stop her from suing. But that is not for her as an MP of the ruling party to then go and call police or some police around her and say that go and arrest the Good Evening Ghana host. He puts you can go to court and sue. I have also taken legal action against people who have spoken about me in a certain way. If the fact that I've taken legal action against somebody doesn't mean that if tomorrow my party comes to power and I have some authority, then now I use the police. That's the issue. Using the state power to apparently settle personal scores. That's really the problem.
If someone threatens to kill the president and his wife, where does this fall?
If someone
threatens to kill the president and his wife, which has happened in recent times, and we know what has happened to that person, I mean, would you say that is also wrong for the state to come in and arrest the person?
Well, if someone threatens to kill the president
and his wife,
that's a serious offense. We have to evaluate whether the person has the capacity to do so. But even if the person doesn't have the capacity to do so, he shouldn't be able to say that, and that requires an invitation from the police. That should naturally require an invitation from the police.
That you don't have a problem with.
Yeah, no. If you threaten, like Koko, I knew the whole situation when he said that there was going to be a coup d'etat, and that the coup d'etat was it is following from Akufo-Addo's father and their destiny and all of that. He was invited by the police. I mean, people should not be able to take a telephone and say that I will kill the president and his wife, or that I will kill anybody at all. Once you show a certain mens-rea towards murder, the police must reach you just to help the whole society and to be sure whether you are sane, whether all of that. So that. But if you criticize Trump, Deputy Attorney General, and then he gets offended and says that because of that I'm going to So you can't tell President and his wife that you threaten them. You can't tell an MP that you threaten him.
It says your administration is abusing. That's Section 208 of the Criminal Offences.
No, Samson Ladi did an editorial and said it.
Yes, the Electronic Communications Act.
You see,
just arresting people left, right, from center.
So it's unfortunate. That the way my brother Paul put the matter. In fact, first and foremost, he mixed up the issues. And I would try to segregate. He said he heard that as from Monday, a lot of
that's something I heard.
Don't worry. And I would even draw a certain inference here. I was in Parliament yesterday. But you see, let me put out that, whatever is said in Parliament cannot be used in the law court against any MP. He's immune. So it is also, let's also be careful when things are said there. I was there when he said it. They said all kinds of things. But you see, if you are reproducing it here, sometimes we need to be careful. But you, let me say it.
Is it defamatory?
I'm coming. I'll deal with it. Because you see, you said that they will be arrested because they are criticizing the government. And you even made
an example of miracles about it.
And yourself. You said even you.
No, I didn't say, no, not myself.
You said even,
no, I'm talking about the potential arrest.
Yes,
so that you
the
are on the
potential
list.
arrest. You said even you.
Yes.
You will never be arrested because you are criticizing President Mahama.
Oh, no, they won't say that.
No, but they don't even need to, because you see, there are equally, look, even your show, yes, you criticize President Mahama, but there are other people elsewhere who does even worse. If you are being invited, I said it here, it may be because you held a public office. And the fact that you criticize President Mahama must also not be a tool for you to claim indemnity.
Correct. Oh, that's correct.
As though nobody can touch you. And if anybody comes for you, it means that it's because you are criticizing President Mahama. Let that not also be said.
No, it is the way in which they come for you.
Don't worry,
and say
and
you cannot have bail and all of that.
No,
if they come for you and ask you questions that
you see,
you did this, you did that.
You see, the challenge I have with you tried, then you put it, you push it subtly. We were in this country when Oheneba Buama, a journalist like yourself, was imprisoned under Nana Adom-Otchere. For what? He only said that according to the information he has, the Supreme Court judges they seek counsel from Nana before they give ruling.
Yes.
That was all.
Even bongo ideas.
Please. So why do you put it as though you said Nanado under this particular regime? Yes, it is. Well, how is he abused? He was imprisoned. Imprisoned.
I don't get the point you're making.
The point I'm making is that
I exonerated Nanado. That's what you're saying.
No, but the point you made is that this current administration, and you are saying that nobody should be incarcerated because he said something. We have to. You gave an example.
I'm talking about the research from Samson Ladi that this electronic communications law, which
so we are not discussing something. Samson Ladi may say something I disagree.
No, it's research. It
doesn't matter. I can still disagree with him. I can still disagree with him. How many years?
It's numbers.
No, numbers. Look, if you want to know the number of people that were arrested
under the electronic communications
law. Are you talking? No, you see, there is the 207 and 208. It's not just electronic. The electronic was brought under your people, Akufo-Addo's era. But that's not what I'm even referring to. There's 207 and 208 has always been there. When the provisions that
207 of where?
Criminal Offences Act, offensive conduct and false publication. It's still law in our statute.
Yes.
It's criminal.
Yes.
So it is work.
False publication.
Please, hold it. Paul, what you said was that a speech must not be criminalized. This is what your people, everybody is saying. I mean, those people on the other side.
Yes.
When did they realize that? I'm saying that speech includes saying, it includes saying anything out there. But there are some, lines that are drawn that if you go beyond, it's criminal. It is offensive conduct. And then false publication. It's still law. It's criminal. It's not defamatory. So let nobody say that when you say things against me and you cross the line of 207, it's false publication, I should sue you. No. It is a crime.
No, you are so right about that.
Yes.
But the issue is that, is it being abused? That's the question.
How is it abused? If it is 1,000, no.
So you think it's not being abused?
Please hold it. And that is the problem I have with whatever research anybody may have made. If you are making a research to know how many people, you should do a research to find out how many have committed the offense.
Right.
The fact that it didn't happen, maybe at that time people didn't do it. Mm-hmm. So if it is happening today and people, look, it is not. As lawyers, and I expect that is what should happen. It is looking at the law to find out whether actually people are being held in accordance with the law. That is what is possible. It's not how many times it happens. It's not. Because
Honorable, you think the law is not being abused.
How is it abused?
Fair enough. That's okay.
Yes. How is it abused?
People think the law is being abused.
No. If we, as a country, if we want to repeal 207 and 20, which Nanado as Attorney General saw and left after repealing the criminal libel sections, he saw the 207 and 8 and he said, no, let's keep it. Nanado don't go forward. And it's remained till date.
Is it capable of being abused?
No, but everything. Crime. Look, this Wontumi thing, we are here and you are saying that the judgment is not a fair one. Every section, it's not the 208 and 207. Any
only provision could be, look, the police can arrest
That's
you
what the people
for
are
even
saying.
stealing. No,
They're saying
for
that it's
stealing
being abused. And
How is it being abused?
Yeah, so that's your view. But
Yes, but allow me.
But you are not allowing them to think that it's being abused.
No. I'm saying that as far as I'm concerned, it's not abuse because, and it is hypocritical on their part.
Oh, okay. So then now you are moving forward.
You understand?
That is hypocritical for anyone to think
because
it's being abused.
Buama was imprisoned in this country under a regime for just saying he heard that judges go to seek counsel from Nanado before delivering ruling. And then he was incarcerated. Okay. It is not the case that anybody, look, I would any day go for this 207, 208 to remain in our statutes. Let's stop. We can criticize. We came here, we criticize each other. But it remains so. Nobody would be given the license all in the name of free speech. And I would implore Dr. Baumi, and I hope with the greatest respect. Look, don't make political heroes out of these breaches of the law.
Okay.
So if anybody goes out there to do anything and the police, and the person actually admits that I said it, most of these people, look at this Baba Amandu. Baba Amandu admitted that I'm saying it. When he was even arrested and he was denied bail, he said that I'll go and come back. I'll die for my party. I'll do this.
All right.
This lady, till date, as we speak, even though the MPP is fighting for her, till date, the lady has not even been shown remorse. She feels she's doing the right thing.
The TikToker?
That lady that has been in prison.
But is she able to talk?
No, even before, when she was being looked for.
She didn't apologize.
And she was all over the place. She went into hiding. She went into hiding. And she was calling on, yes, she was even calling on MPP people to come to her aid. And that she had done nothing wrong when they were looking for her. She's not shown any remorse today. And these are people who, do you remember the
But Wontumi showed remorse, didn't he?
No, I thought you were talking about 207.
I know you're talking about remorse.
You said Wontumi showed remorse. Where?
In all his.
No, but he pleaded not guilty. It was the trial that convicted him.
All right.
Wontumi didn't share it.
No, the way you're talking about remorse.
Yes, but Wontumi didn't. He said he's not guilty. In fact, yesterday I was with Professor Lekwad. He said when they went there with Dr. Baumi, Wontumi was still talking, and he even said that Anglo Gold people are still working there. He was giving some whatever
in prison.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what Kinsley Nyako said on Adom FM yesterday.
Two more messages. Just two more messages and then we'll go. Now, say Obama from Pokwase is back. He says, for the record and purpose of precision, those TikTokers who got arrested did not threaten to kill the president. What they did was to wish that God kills him. How does anybody get criminally prosecuted for a spiritual wish?
If you say, no. You see, this thing, if you say that the president...
I'm not PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.